Hey guys, so I'm about 2 months into my $1 million passive income journey, and now I'm looking for salespeople for some of my ventures. So the question always comes up, what is the best way to find commission-only salespeople? So as an entrepreneur, it's always the dream to have a huge team of commission-only salespeople. A team of people that you don't have to pay unless they actually make some sales for you. I mean, it sounds wonderful, doesn't it? The problem is it's really hard to find them, or it's really hard to find good ones. So in my past experiences in the different businesses that I have, I've always had some commission-only salespeople on board. So there are a few reasons why it's difficult. It's a few reasons why some do well and some don't. So I just want to kind of get into that. So first of all, really the sales business model that you have is going to have a huge effect on it. So really, for people to want to do a commission-only sales position, it needs to be very enticing. So you need to really have a good compensation plan, and you have to have pretty big ticket items for it to really make sense, or an ability to sell masses quite easily. Now, the reason for this is that if you're looking for a low price point salesperson who's commission only, most likely they have no sales experience or they're not good at it. No real salesperson is going to want to take a position for a small, low-paying item without any base pay. So myself, when I was in sales long time ago, and to be honest, I would rather have had a commission-only percentage as long as it didn't allow me to have a cap. So that's a big part of it. They want to make sure that they're not going to be capped out at a certain amount. They have in their mind they can make 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, $1 million a year, and they want to make sure that they don't have anything that's limiting them to do that. So as a sales professional myself, I was very, very confident in my abilities. So instead of getting some, base pay, a few $1,000s a month, and then have a smaller commission, I wanted to get as much commission as I could. I didn't care about any base pay because I knew that I was going to make sales. So when you are trying to attract these type of individuals, and these are the ones you really want, because you want people that know how to sell. And basically, those people are going to be looking for opportunities that give them the best potential to make money. It's really money motivated for most salespeople. The second thing you could do is to have some sort of mission, some sort of common goal. So if you really paint a picture and you're passionate about your business, you're solving a problem, people can actually see changes in people's lives by, with the service that they're offering. That's another way to actually bring in commission-only salespeople. If they feel like they're doing some sort of service to community, sometimes they'll be more likely to take a lower amount of pay because they're getting a little bit more fulfillment. The next thing also is a potential to give them a portion of the company's revenue, a portion of the company to be some sort of partner. Maybe it's, stock options, something like that to make them feel involved with the business. So if they would be willing to take a lower commission amount as long as they feel that when they're helping the company grow, that their own potential is growing as well. So they're flourishing with the company. So that is something that's very important to commission-only salespeople as well. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can actually issue shares over time. You can issue shares based on performance. You can do a total percentage of profit. So maybe you have a sales team of 10 people, and each person gets a percentage of their own sales, but also a percentage of everybody's sales. So that's actually a good method because it creates more of a team environment. A lot of times with salespeople, they're competitive with each other. Hey, you're stepping over your boundary, you're in my territory. But when you have a common goal, like everybody's making money, regardless on who's doing it, they tend to work together a lot better. So that's another way as well. So, the problem is, a lot of people who are looking for commission-only salespeople will put something like on Craigslist or something, and, they'll have small ticket items where, a solid salesperson would maybe make $4,000 to $6,000, and in the mind of the entrepreneur, a lot of times they think that's enough to attract a good salesperson. Well, it really isn't. You need to have a potential at least 150, 200,000 to attract somebody good. It doesn't mean that that's how much they're going to make, but at least they know that the potential is there. So the issue is that when you post something on Craigslist and you'll get people that actually respond, to these ads, a lot of times they're going to be flaky. They may do it for a month, they'll see that it's a struggle, and then they'll be out the door. And to be honest, it costs a lot more to have to train these newbies in sales. And it's not only cost with money, but cost with your own time, cost with potential sales. The costs are enormous if you actually combine it all together. So when you bring in these people, even though you're not paying them, you're actually paying them in another way. And you're actually losing money, because if you had a great salesperson instead, you could have been making a lot more. So usually give it a month or two, they'll probably be out the door, unless they're gonna be killing it and they're just like a born natural. But typically, if they know they're a good salesperson, they're not gonna be applying to a position that's gonna pay potentially up to $5,000 or $6,000. So now when you have these really so-called high-end salespeople that are in your office, a lot of it's kind of sad, but they want to be treated kind of like a king. They want to have every tool available to them. They want to have all the best ability to make the sales, and it's kind of difficult in that manner. So that's why you want to have a blend. You want to have somebody who is more passionate about the business. You want to have somebody that's passionate about actually the product itself, not just somebody who's really good at sales and just wants to make money. They may make your company big, they may bring in some money, but to be honest, they've been headaches in the past. If you don't have the latest tools in place, they're going to complain. If you don't have the nice chairs for them to sit, the right telephones, the right headsets to make the calls, anything that's holding them back, they're going to complain about it, which is fine. You want to provide the best environment for them. But the issue is that since they believe that they're a god at sales, when anything goes wrong, the blame is always on something. My telephone dials too slow. My chair is hurting my back, so I can't sit long enough. Our product is not good enough. We need to upgrade it. There's always going to be some excuse, and it's not their own sales ability. So it's really key to find that individual that always wants to see things grow. And you can see that if you offer them something as a sort of a percentage of your company to see that grow, or a percentage of the commissions, or something, something long-term, if they see the benefit of that long-term growth, most likely that they are a type of individuals that likes to grow on their own and improve their skills. So a real salesperson, a solid salesperson that's going to be awesome for your business, is one that's always perfecting their craft and always puts blame on himself. Hey, I could have done something better. I could have changed this. My approach could have been a little better. And then they improve and they get better. And, basically the whole company grows from that. And, that type of person is a lot easier to make a manager, to train other salespeople as well. So that's kind of your golden salesperson, if you could find that. And a good way is to kind of offer those different incentives and see if they bite, because that's the type of person that they are. So there's a lot of services out there right now, to try to find commission-only salespeople. Basically, what they do is, I think they have just a huge database of salespeople that applied to different positions in the past, and they email blast them all, hey, are you interested in a sales position? I've tried some of those in the past, and they're pretty pricey, but you get a lot of calls. But to be honest, I didn't see any really solid salespeople come out of it. A lot of times they're responding to that mid to low price range because they're not really good salespeople. Some of them had no experience, which sometimes is actually better because they have some potential, but most of them were salespeople that were struggling. They're at another place and were let go, another place they're not making enough money. That's not really someone who you want in your company. You want somebody who knows he can sell, and most likely if you put the opportunity out there, and if you put it on any kind of job board, and you have the right pay structure in place, they'll start coming to you. And you just want to make sure that you make it clear that this position that you're offering is very exclusive. That it's very, like, you're looking for the cream of the crop. So you want to make your interview process very stringent. You want to have maybe some scenarios where you can get some feedback, but you want to make it seem that you're really, really doing your research on who to hire. And it's not only for show. I mean, you really do want to do that, but you want to do it a little extra to make sure that they know that this position is not something that's just going to be a fly-by-night, fly-by-night position that they're going to lose in the next month. And that's another part of it too. I mean, most salespeople who are good are confident that they'll be sticking around, but there's always that lingering, worry about, like, hey, is there some sort of quotas? What do I have to do? So you want to make sure that that's kind of clear up front. A good salesperson won't worry too much about it, but they'll definitely want to know what that is. For the reason is for turnover, so they can actually see, what has been happening with the company in the past. The next best thing that you need to have, if you really want to do this, is to have some sort of results. If you're a new company, I know this is always difficult, but you do need to have some sort of results. You need to have some sort of salesperson that's already made $10,000 a month. If you're going to advertise it out there that you can potentially make $10,000 a month, yeah, mathematically you can make $1 million a month with any product, right? But I mean, really, if you're going to say that, you need to show somebody that's actually doing it. And if you don't have any salespeople, then yourself is the first salesperson as an entrepreneur. If you can create the process, and this is very important, you need to have a process in place. Like, what is the sales process? What is the sales funnel? How does the sales flow work? What kind of scripts are you doing? Are you using social media? Are you using phone calls, door to door? You need to kind of have that in place so you know what works. Otherwise, you'll be wasting a ton of time. And if you're getting these salespeople who want to make a ton of money right away and they're good at their job, they're not going to want to wait around to figure out, what's the best way to do this. They want to have something already in place. Hey, we know this works. We just need a good salesperson to make it happen. And then there you go. So if you don't have a salesperson already, you yourself may have to become a salesperson to get those initial numbers. Otherwise, you may have to pay somebody a base salary until you can get those numbers and then show the potential that they can make with the amount of sales, and then bring in some commission-only salespeople. So, I hope this information helps you out. I'm going to be looking for some commission-only salespeople. Some of the lower-end products, if you have a lower-end product, you typically probably would want a base salary, and sometimes it makes it more viable for you as well. But if you're looking for a commission-only salesperson to make a few $1,000s a month, then to be honest, your business model probably is not made for salespeople. You may want to make it a digital salesperson, like a website, doing some sort of landing page campaigns with some social media marketing. That might make more sense for your business. If you're not computer savvy, then even mailers, catalogs, postcards, but have some sort of automated system to close that deal, that might make more sense for lower ticket items. If you have a higher ticket item product, then commission-only salespeople would work for you. So until next time, I'll get looking for some salespeople. If any of you guys are interested in being salespeople, please contact me. My email is in the link below, and I will see you soon.